Right, buddy, in this video I'll be looking at can Chelsea win the Premier League. We've already done can Arsenal win the Premier League. Now we'll be looking at Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea fans, if you are watching, let me know your thoughts. Any football fans in the comments, leave a like, comment and subscribe. And let's discuss whether Chelsea can win the Premier League. Now, one reason why I think Chelsea can win the Premier League is this squad. Like, their squad is probably the most stacked in the Premier League. I think if you look at obviously how they've recruited, but let's just look through some of their squad. Obviously in goal, they've got Robert Sanchez, they've got a few of the keepers. But you look at their defence, they've got Reece James, Malo Gusto, Disasi, Dennis, who a new signing, someone I don't know, 18-year-old player, Tosin, Badiashile, Colwill, Mamadou Sarr, Lacroix, Fofana, Alcimio as well. They've a Chempong, the list keeps going. Jarrell Hato, so many good centre-backs who are pretty decent, to be honest with you. Xabi Alonso wants to play that 3. I know they only have one game a week, but they have very good options there. And I think that's something that's important. You look at that fullback, Hato, Kenda can do a job there. Chavaria. They've got so many good players. Reece James, Gusto, just an insane amount of team. You look at an insane amount of players. Midfield, Asugo, Caicedo, Lavia, Barco, Palestra, you can do a job there. Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Rodgers. Now we're going to the forward. Neto, Esteval, Kenda again, Gittins, Mudryk, Fofana, Liam Delap, Jackson, Danny Welbeck, João Pedro. I've missed out Jordan Henderson. Their squad, I think you can get the memo. Their squad is insane. And again, to win any sort of trophy, you're going to need a squad. And I think that's something that I mentioned about Arsenal. I think this Chelsea squad, just based on numbers and some sort of quality, some people may argue it's probably better than the Arsenal squad. Again, I think that's something that's key. Obviously, Xabi Alonso coming in, he's won the league title before. He's obviously played in the Premier League with Liverpool. Maybe that's something that will help, that sort of experience of knowing, obviously the Premier League's changed massively. But again, he has that winning experience. You look at Arteta, up until obviously he won a few cups, but winning the Premier League is different. And I think for a Chelsea team that, at times last season under Maresca did struggle, as much as we don't want to sort of say that. I can't remember where they finished last season. Well, they didn't get Europe, so it would have been, quite low down. Actually, I can find out here. So Chelsea last season, they finished where did they finish? They finished last season in 10th place. Wasn't a great season for them in the way that it kind of faded out. There was a lot of sort of tension in around the team. Players being injured, but I also think they recruited very well, and recruitment's obviously key. Kenda's a new signing that's come in. I think Morgan Rodgers is a great bit of business. Someone that comes in, he's young, he can score goals, he's versatile, he can carry the ball. He's very similar, but also very different to Cole Palmer. I think that's something that's key. I think 2 experienced signings that they made is going to be key. I always remember that time. Did they win the Carabao? Or when they got to the Carabao Cup and they won the Champions League, they had Thiago Silva, who was just a rock, immense leader at the back. And I think Welbeck and Henderson are going to be 2 very important signings. Maybe not on the pitch, and we might not see it, but certainly off the pitch to a lot of the younger players coming in. I think that's something that's going to be important. You look at Chelsea, they lost 14 games last season. That's a lot of games. They were pretty inconsistent. They had some good wins. I think they beat Liverpool, and they had some obviously good performances along the way. I remember that draw against City. But I think they are, a lot of people have put them high up. They've got 1 game a week. They've got a good manager. They've got a very good squad. If I look at negatives, inconsistencies, you look at how inconsistent Chelsea have been over recent years. They're not afraid to sack managers and make rash decisions. You look at, again, so many, Maresca, Pochettino, Rafinha, you had McFarlane for a little bit. They're not afraid to just get rid of managers if it's not going well. So there is immense pressure. I think inconsistency in performances, but they should be able to take it one game at a time. If I look at how it works so well for Manchester United, that 1 game a week under Michael Carrick, there wasn't that much pressure on us to sort of do well. Yes, we lost a couple in there, but it was relatively good for Carrick. That's something that worked well, and I think for a first season, it'd be something that's too good. He's not going into playing 50, 60 games a season. You might get, maximum 50 depending on how far they get in the cups. So I think it's a really big opportunity for him to make his mark in the Premier League. And I think Xabi Alonso does play good football. You've seen what he does at Leverkusen. I don't know what sort of, formation he's been using. I can have a look now. If we look at his formation, he's been playing that 3-back system. So 3-4-2-1. I think he definitely does have the squad to do that. Rodgers, Palmer in behind the striker, whether that's Kendo or Neto at right wing back. Neto played the last game, whether that's Palestra at left wing back or right wing back. You've got enough centre backs, you've got the squad to do it. I just don't know how inconsistent you're going to be, and again, it also depends on whether, injuries will obviously have a big part to play. If you lose Enzo Fernandez, you lose Augusto, you lose part of the squad. However, I'm looking at that squad, it can definitely do things next season. But listen, let me know your thoughts. Chelsea fans in the comments, or just football fans in general, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Chelsea have what it takes to win the Premier League next season? Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. But yeah, we're going to do some more series on this, so let me know your thoughts. Peace.